is true. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, everybody knows it. I don't have to say what I am, because I've done it. That's the difference. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Rest in peace.
Hey guys, welcome to the Smark podcast, episode number 9. Wow, can't take my breath away because I was just watching WWE SmackDown. A lot of things to talk about as usual. This is a show where fans like me who thinks we know it all talks about wrestling, but at the same time we try to make it as logical as you can be. Now, this week's wrestling, today is Saturday. Happy Saturday to everyone right here in Singapore. If you're listening in, we are getting ready to slowly open up and end our semi-lockdown as we speak. And hopefully the US and the world of wrestling, they can open up as well. Shout out to whatever is happening at Minneapolis. Very sad scenes over there. So if there is any chance you guys are listening to the podcast, hopefully the entertainment aspects of it will make you guys feel better, because it's really, really sad of what's happening. All right, let's not jump into those political in America. Let's jump the better things in America. That is the WWE SmackDown. We got plenty to talk about. AEW Double or Nothing, AEW Dynamite, The Undertaker episode 3, The Last Ride, and of course SmackDown. I want to talk about SmackDown first. We won't go this in a chronicle order, in a day-by-day basis, but let's talk about SmackDown. So they planned in the main thing that is going on in SmackDown right now. It is the Intercontinental tournament, which when I first saw the bracket, I predicted it's either gonna be Daniel Bryan and Nakamura or Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, which it's too predictable. But anyways, I understand why they are going with either these two wrestlers, because they compete against AEW. Leverage, they call it in the terms of professional wrestling. So they want to make a storyline out of the Intercontinental title tournament. So they plan an injury angle, which saw at the top of the episode, which saw Elias getting attacked by a rental car, which belongs to Jeff Hardy. So as the scene goes on, they manage to find Jeff Hardy drunk and handcuffed him, and then we took off from there. And the angle features at the end of the match where Jeff Hardy came back from police custody and cost Sheamus the match. Okay, let's not jump into the main event yet. Okay, the first angle, I was really confused. I was trying to pretend that I'm a first time watching a WWE show. So that being said, I'm not sure who is the baby face here, because Elias getting attacked, that looked like a baby face getting attacked, and Jeff Hardy is the drunk and careless driver. So, and his rival is with Sheamus. So Jeff Hardy technically is a heel. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do, but in the end it makes sense. At the end of the show, which we'll explain later. Nice, not very nice acting, I would say. But I've not seen the worst. So it's a very sensitive subject to talk about when it comes to this kind of thing, especially with the week with what happened in Minneapolis with the police officer and stuff like that. So it's really, really daring of WWE to do that, with police officer arresting Jeff Hardy as well. So what the fuck is it? I don't know why they're all of a sudden they're going with it. And on the record, Jeff Hardy has a history of getting arrested. So they move on to this backstage with all the talent that is arguing about what's going to happen to the Intercontinental Tournament because it's supposed to be Jeff Hardy against Daniel Bryan in the semifinals. But apparently it's offset for a Battle Royal. I guess in the segment, Daniel Bryan says he wants to compete against the winner of the Battle Royal, but AJ Styles decided to go with a null and void for Elias's bracket. So I guess AJ Styles is a heel in this Friday Night SmackDown, and Daniel Bryan is a babyface, of course. So we get to see a Battle Royal, which won by Sheamus. So apparently the winner of the Battle Royal will face Daniel Bryan that night for the semifinals. And you get guys like Sheamus, who's already been eliminated. Dolph Ziggler's already been eliminated. Cesaro, Nakamura already been eliminated in the tournament, to feature again for the Battle Royal, a chance to win an Intercontinental Championship. So that to me is thumbs down. But why would you do that? Like, it will be much more easier if you were to get Sheamus against the rest of maybe Dolph Ziggler or whatever. But it's a nice way. It doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. But they just swap Jeff Hardy and Sheamus into the semifinals bracket to face Daniel Bryan. But yeah, so I will give the Battle Royal a very good Battle Royal. Who the fuck is Shorty G, man? I don't even know who is the Shorty G. Is he like Jason Jordan's ex tag team partner? I haven't been watching a lot of WWE that much, so I need to catch up. But yeah, I don't know who is Shorty G. But he looks good. His works look good. He was having a storyline with Sheamus and whatnot. He eliminated Nakamura, which concurred to me asking, who the fuck is this guy? He looks like a mini Shawn Michaels. Yes, Shawn Michaels is already small, and he looks like a mini Shawn Michaels. So he moves like Taka Michinoku as well. So, but anyways, yeah, it's very nice to see WWE promoting some of the high flyers. You can see why. In the end, it's a very nice segment and a storyline to build. This is what WWE is made of, Whenever you can't see this type of storyline before AEW, and now all of a sudden they are really, really good at it. That's why I hate WWE. When they are being forced, they can get shit done and they can do it very, very well. But when there's no competition, they turn into the old WCW. And this is the problem I have with professional wrestling and the McMahons. I'm assuming the McMahons are now like having Triple H, on the side, wrestling agents and whatnot. Chief Strambo is not there anymore, but I know guys like Paul Heyman is in there. He's in charge of SmackDown. So it's a very, very, very nice, very, very nice thing to do, and they deliver to me in SmackDown, especially with this storyline. So, and to top it all off, Braun Strowman is not in the WWE Championship. Braun Strowman is not in the program tonight, and they managed to. I will give it 4.7 out of 5, and hopefully this one goes on, and hopefully this will only push the barrier of professional wrestling. AEW will see this, they will up their game, they have their own thing. We'll talk about that later on. But anyways, moving on next into the next match, we see a very entertaining. Not say entertaining, I wouldn't want to cover that match between Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans. We got the talk show for a moment of bliss. Let's talk about that. A moment of bliss. Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss interviewing the World Tag Team Champions. Sorry, the SmackDown World Tag Team Champions, the New Day. How many times has the New Day become the Tag Team Champions? It's like the 18 times. It's like the Triple H of the tag team wrestling. Very I don't know why they are out there, but it looks like they are gonna plan for next week's match because two babyfaces team having fun out there, and then suddenly came Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sasha Banks and Bayley, which set up a match for Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, two of my favorites, fantasy women. What? No. I mean wrestling. Yeah. It's like heaven for me watching them wrestle each other. Two of the hottest girls in professional wrestling today, Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. And apparently there's a lot of reports saying that they don't like each other, but they seems to have a lot of chemistry in the ring, kind of like what Brad and Sean is doing. But the match is absolutely legend. It's one of those matches where you're not going to remember just because it's on SmackDown, but it's actually great. You know, a underrated kind of match, but lovely match, and it looks like they have like a 15-minute time limit. But yeah, it's entertaining. It's very well psychology wise, and Nikki Cross super entertaining on the commentary box with Bayley. There's this one time Bayley said, "Shut up, Nikki." So I love that. I love Nikki Cross. She's like kind of like a Mickey James and Trish Stratus kind of thing, and really she caused the match on Alexa Bliss. But she's the World Tag Team Champions. I don't like the idea of a champion losing, but I see where they are going with this. They are building up tension between Bayley and Sasha Banks. Next week they're gonna face off in a tag team title match. I assume they are gonna lose the tag team title, and then we'll see some heat between Sasha and Bayley, I guess, you know. So yeah, very well done as well. WWE producing all the goods, especially in the ladies side. Very difficult to compare whether it was better than Nyla Rose and Shida, Hiroki Shida, but lovely match to see between Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. A lot of chemistry with them, the psychology, like I mentioned before, and I like the finish as well. The finish was well done. Nikki Cross, Bayley trying to cause Alexa Bliss from the top rope, and Nikki Cross interrupt, and Bayley apparently pushes Nikki Cross into Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks cover it with a roll up. Nice match. Something I would like to see on a daily basis, and if they do it on a daily basis, it's something that I wouldn't get bored of. So there you go. Review of the first two matches. Battle Royal and Alexa Bliss against Sasha Banks. The next one I want to talk about is another segment which I find it really weird. Let's talk about this. Kurt Angle apparently had this return back to WWE TV. So he did this weird segment, which, by the way, is so obvious that he's reading from a script. He introduces NXT's Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is an MMA fighter. He's on NXT right now, and apparently he's gonna be a member of the SmackDown roster. So let me get this straight. He's like this bra guy, right? Like a bra here and there. I mean, Jim Cornette talks about how dipshit Joey Janela and Jungle Boy. Well, Connie, take a look at this right now. Matt Riddle, a submission specialist, and it looks at the way he's going, he looks like he's gonna be a contender for Idiot of the Year, like your best friend Santino Marella. It looks like that, you know, and I don't know. I just don't like the how WWE is presenting. Well, first of all, it makes me easier to don't like his face, Matt Riddle. But then, secondly, it's like, why? Why are you making it? He's a submission specialist. Why are you making it like that? So it's a very weird. I don't know. It's really weird to see. And I mean, imagine Brock Lesnar acting like Mick Foley. You know, I'm not saying Mick Foley is bad, but in terms of character. So yeah, so they introduced Matt Riddle, so he's gonna be a part of this SmackDown roster. I assume he's gonna have I don't know, is he a babyface or is he a heel? I don't know. I would put him with Nakamura and Cesaro. You know, I think it's a great fit. And that guy, Shorty G as well, somewhere in the mid-card area. So, yeah. Very interesting so far from SmackDown. But I've seen his work on NXT. He can go, you know, he has this MMA style. But I don't like his gimmick. Like a little bit of, hey bro, what's up bro? That Southern California kind of guy. It's really annoying, really, when he's on the mic. So it'll be very interesting to see how WWE is going to present his character within like 3 months from now. Because WWE has a record of destroying NXT talent. And, you know, Nakamura, Sami Zayn, you know, stuff like that. It's all these very, very entertaining and a very, very charismatic kind of guys. And NXT, and they come from NXT, and the WWE just destroy them, you know. It's what they do. But yeah, very interesting to see Matt Riddle. I would love to. I think if I'm not mistaken, he tried to pick a fight with Goldberg, tried to lobby a match with Goldberg when he was NXT. So a lot of the managements and locker room did not appreciate that, especially Goldberg. And then this is one time Goldberg was there and confronted him, and he said nothing. So yeah, and I heard Booker T address this as well. You can hear what Booker T thinks of it. You can always Google Booker T talks about Matt Riddle and Goldberg. You know, it's not the time and place sometimes for guys like Matt Riddle. You know, you're a small bean, you're in WWE, and you're calling out the biggest star, one of the biggest favors for Vince McMahon, and you know they don't appreciate that so much. So, but yeah, I can absolutely see that he's a future star. I can see him being in the level of maybe Jericho if his attitude is right. Matt Riddle, I can see he's having a great match with a lot of WWE talent. I don't know about the presentation of this. I really don't, because WWE has locked up a lot of talent's contract. And it seems like they are using NXT like SCW. That's why they let go a lot of superstars. And, you know, they have NXT to back up some of their stuff. You know, I mean, Kurt Angle was released. You know, but he's back on the WWE TV. But yeah, anyways, let's move on. Enough about Matt Riddle. I know we're like going fast time here, but there's plenty of things to talk about. We are still on SmackDown. Overall, I think it's a very good show. Like I said earlier, WWE can present a show when it is being forced to. You know what I mean? Like over the past, in the Cena era, they got nothing because there's no competition. TNA is not a competition. Impact is not a competition. ROH and JPW is not competition at all. But suddenly when AEW come about with all this money, nobody is walking on eggshells anymore. So that's lovely to see for us Smarks, because we get to see all these actions, you know. And yeah, and it's very interesting to see that as well. So lovely. So far, a great show. The main event was even better. Daniel Bryan against Sheamus. You can always rely on Daniel Bryan to produce a good show. You know, even when at the top of WWE, when you know they are stupid booking years, there's always Daniel Bryan to save the day. There's always CM Punk to save the day. There's, you know, you can put Cena in there as well to save the day. But Daniel Bryan is like one of those, like, he attracts the professional wrestling audience into WWE. You know, if it's because CM Punk is gone, Cena is gone. I mean, not Cena, sorry. Cena is kind of like the corporate guy. CM Punk is gone. But if you don't have Daniel Bryan, I think, you know, you're not gonna have a lot of professional wrestlers there as well. So yeah, especially when the time where he cuts a promo for his SummerSlam match against Cena. The promo leading up to it, I remember he is not a corporate company guy, but he is professional wrestling. So I think when he said that, he kind of like pulled the indie marks like myself. No, I'm not an indie mark, I'm a wrestling mark. The indie fans, the smaller fans of the WWE, the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels era audiences coming in to watch WWE again. You know, they keep pushing Cena over the years. They keep pushing Orton, and it's really something refreshing. And every time I see Daniel Bryan in the ring, it's a breath of fresh air. And really, I appreciate Daniel Bryan's for the existence but you know, it's Daniel Bryan to me is like a God's gift to the WWE. I'm assuming he's gonna be on Raw soon, because he's on SmackDown and he's topping up the chart there on SmackDown. But anyways, a great back and forth match. We see Sheamus talking smack with Daniel Bryan about their WrestleMania 18 seconds where Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan for the World Heavyweight Champion. I still remember that. Daniel Bryan was the champion. He was a heel back then, and I think he was having AJ Lee as his girlfriend / manager. So he kissed AJ Lee and broke it, and then dang, over. It's really a shocker. And it was an opening match as well. So and then after that, I think that's the turning point for Daniel Bryan. Like, fans felt sorry for him. Fans, and that's where the movement, the Yes movement, take off from there. And then the next year we see Daniel Bryan in the main event. So there you go. You have that as well. But yeah, very, very nice match, back and forth. Sheamus, I don't know how he does it sometimes. He looks like a brawler. He looks very, very, very rough, I guess, very stiff. But that's what wrestling is today. They don't care if it's stiff. They love the stiffness. That's why it doesn't sit well with guys like me, guys like, the old school fans. The professional wrestling is not about hurting each other. It's not about working stiff. It's about you're telling a story, and you're telling a story, you're giving your body to your opponent to take care of it, but you can't be hurting each other. That's not a way. But apparently the philosophy has changed. It's all about getting hurt right now, and that's why we see a lot of injuries over the years of professional wrestling. But I don't know. That's what's great about professional wrestling, though, is like the philosophy is different, and you can believe that sometimes, it's really mind blowing to see all these great wrestlers injury in the hands of today's wrestlers like Sting, even Finn Balor. He was having a run for his Universal Championship, and he got injured by Seth Rollins. I don't know. It's very, very weird. But overall, for getting back to it, SmackDown. There's only one problem with the show SmackDown. I didn't see Bray Wyatt. I didn't see The Miz. I didn't see John Morrison. I didn't see Braun Strowman. So that's, I don't know. Maybe I can understand Braun Strowman not being there because he's the champion and he's gonna be very protected. So apparently they've announced at Backlash it will be Braun Strowman against the Miz and Morrison handicap match for the World Championship, and that's a good booking. To me, it's a great booking. I assume Braun Strowman is gonna get over, and they're gonna use him as a monster type champion, and it would maybe get someone like I don't know at this point. I don't know who's gonna topple him. Maybe Bray is gonna topple him again. But that's why with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman in the title picture, who's gonna step up? You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna topple them and give them a run for their money. It's definitely not gonna be the Miz and Morrison forever. I assume they are gonna they're gonna turn on each other. Morrison maybe is gonna turn on each other. I don't know. Shorty G, just nobody right now on the SmackDown roster that could step up. Because I would say Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, but Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles will be feuding for the Intercontinental title. So that will be very interesting to see. I assume they're gonna have all. Let's look at it this way: the top guys for SmackDown right now is Braun Strowman, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and that's about it. And then on the undercard, and Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, these 5. So Sheamus and Jeff Hardy is gonna be on storyline, their own storyline, somewhere in the upper mid card. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan is gonna be on the upper card, alongside with Bray and Braun Strowman. Who's gonna be, where's the X factor? Like, are they gonna rotate all 4? Maybe Daniel Bryan and Braun Strowman, and then maybe Styles and Bray Wyatt, and Styles and Braun Strowman. So I don't know. Paul Heyman has this. By the way, the show really, really looks like a Paul Heyman show, where they plot the main event scene at the start of the show, and then the end of the show for the main event. And it's really, really look like a Paul Heyman show. The moment I watched the end, I was like, okay, Paul Heyman is doing the booking. Yeah. So yeah, but anyways, 4.8 out of 5 I would give it for SmackDown. The only 2.0 that's missing is where's Bray Wyatt, where's Braun Strowman, where's the old champion? I guess sometimes it's limited, especially they are doing it in the PC, but it's really limited, with all this pandemic going on. Hopefully, when everything resumes, we'll get back to normal and give Paul Heyman a shout out for this. What a good segue into it. I might be wrong though. It might not be a Paul Heyman, but I assume Paul Heyman is the head of creative writing right now. So yeah. So good show. 4.8 out of 5 for me. Alright, let's move on to All Elite Wrestling, AEW. They have their 1-year anniversary show, Double or Nothing. And I like the presentation though, the stage and everything, it's kind of like a Las Vegas chips, and that's what Double or Nothing came from, a blackjack game, for those of you who is not sure of that. Okay, now, let's kick things off with their match. It's a ladder match. It's, apparently it's kind of like their version of Money in the Bank. If you win the ladder match, you can have a title shot at any year. Within the next 12 months, I believe. Okay, first of all, I'm a big fan of a ladder match. I think a lot of everyone enjoys the ladder match. When we talk about ladder match, we talk about the TLC matches, the Jeff Hardys, the Matt Dudley boys, Edge and Christian, Benoit, Jericho. Very underrated segment on SmackDown, the Fatal 4-Way TLC match. Go YouTube it. To me, that's one of the underrated match of the WWE era. The reason they can't talk about that match is because of Chris Benoit. But anyways, sidetracking here. Okay, so apparently it's a bit different from Money in the Bank. The ladder match doesn't even make any sense because apparently you start off with 2-person, and then a countdown of every 1 minute another wrestler will come in. So if you think about it logically, this is why sometimes I don't like professional wrestling. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Frankie Kazarian start off with if I'm not mistaken, with Sean Spears. I might be wrong. I watched this like a week ago. So if you go by the logic, they start off 2%, and if one of them just climb and grab the Double or Nothing briefcase, the match is over. We don't have to see the rest of the components of the wrestlers, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So in terms of working a match, we got kind of like see, okay, you gotta wait for all the wrestlers to come out, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So that's a down for me. Like it's kind of close of insulting my intelligence here if you watch professional wrestling. But anyways, I like Frankie Kazarian. He looks good. That Irish whip into the ladder was brutal. And then Darby Allin. Darby Allin, he's alright. He's not he's not a Jeff Hardy or anything, but I can see AEW trying to portray him as the mid-card guy, the match, the guy who have good matches like RVD, like CM Punk, before his pipe bomb promo and whatnot. So I can see him being there. I can see AEW, doing it for him. However, I will be surprised if by the end of the year he's in the main event scene, because I don't see him as a main event player at all, Darby Allin. As much as I love those kind of wrestlers. So he's not the second coming of Jeff Hardy for sure, unless he, maybe he's Swanton Bomb 50 foot from a ladder or something. And then there's a Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus is one of my, probably in AEW right now, my favorite top 5 wrestlers. I like him. He reminds me of, he's kind of like Luke Bruiser Brody. Love the part where he's dominating. But I got a question on Facebook earlier this week about Luchasaurus on where he could go. I don't think he will be a main event player if it's done right, but he could go up to the next level by removing his mask and turning heel on his stablemates. Like when Kane unmasked, but this one you can make him a stronger, have a heel guy challenging, build him up to challenge the heel champion, and then make him go against the heel, and then maybe make a title versus mask kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then by him removing his mask, he can walk past everybody, including the champions itself. So yeah, okay, in this match there's a mystery guy ready to debut who's not been from AEW. I actually thought he's gonna be Pac, aka Neville. I actually thought it's gonna be him, but it's not. It's not him. It's Brian Cage, former TNA Impact World Heavyweight Champion. I love the part where I love this match a little bit. Besides the logic behind it, because they use all the props that was given to them, which is why I love it. They not steel chairs, and so it's a nice way. But there's one more thing that I hate. There's this, AEW, they use some of the wrestlers to become the fans, to make noise and whatnot. There's this one black. I'm sorry to say, there's this one girl that it could be a wrestler or an Asian. She's black, by the way. If you go watch it back, she was like screaming at the face of Brian Cage. What the fuck, man? And even Lance Archer, you're screaming at his face. You are screaming at a monster heel, and that's not so cool. Somebody needs to watch it, in the crowd, because that's not cool, and you can't be screaming at a monster heel like that. It doesn't give the monster heel any superiority, as a character. You can't do that. So whoever that girl is, because I watched Dynamite and she's still there. So yeah, but whatever, and going back to that match, I love the confrontation between Luchasaurus and Brian Cage. It looks like two giants going at it, but holy shit, the bomb that Darby Allin take from Brian Cage before he climbed the ladder and wins it, that looks really, really hurt. I assume that's what Darby Allin is gonna be like, He's gonna be like that guy who is taking bumps for the company and putting on a good show, a mid-card show. It's not a nice thing to do, and if we look at the track records of a booking of a promoter, that could have taken 10 to 15 years out of his life to make into the main event. You know what I mean? Like, look at Matt Hardy, look at Jeff Hardy, But whatever, I don't want him to be the second coming of Jeff Hardy. I don't want him to be the second coming of Matt Hardy as well. I want him to be himself. And like I say, I will be surprised if he is, he will be in the main event scene at the end of this year. So Darby Allin. But anyways, so Brian Cage came out with Taz, by the way. Forgot to mention that. That's a nice combination right there. And when he come out with Taz, I love him doing some of the suplexes, and the commentary was like, trying to play it like how they don't know what's the association between Taz and him. And when he I think he went for a Northline suplex or something. The commentary go, that's a little bit of Taz over here. So they create this mystery. I assume Taz is gonna be like the Paul Heyman of Brian Cage. I assume, but there's a thing. When you book Brian Cage, we'll move on to this later on. When Brian Cage wins this match, and you book Brian Cage into the World Heavyweight Champion so quickly, and you need to build him up maybe 5 to 6 months. Kind of like Umaga. Remember him? So I don't know. If he already won the Double or Nothing match, and if he compete for the World Heavyweight Champion, something's gotta give. You know what I mean? Like, you can't look at Brody Lee. Brody Lee lost his match against Jon Moxley. We'll get to that later. But yeah, it's all in all, the ladder match, just because of the logic, I'm giving it 3 out of 5. Not good in terms of the logic, because it doesn't make any sense, and I really, really hate it if a match doesn't make any sense. As a mark, as a smart, as a fan, as I'm always pretending when I watch wrestling shows right now, I'm always pretending that this is my first time watching it. So yeah. So that will be a Double or Nothing's ladder match. I'm not going to go through some of these matches. I'm going to go through the ones that I felt like it's a bit worth mentioning in our podcast. Alright, let's talk about my favorite match from AEW of the night. I'm talking about the Women's Championship, the Women's World Heavyweight Champion Nyla Rose defending the title against Hikaru Shida. And like I mentioned before they go on the show, there's a tribute show to it's very almost heartbreaking for me to say this. Hana Kimura of the Women's Stardom promotion. I think I watched one of her matches. Not saying one of her matches, I saw one of her highlights against SPW's Alexis Lee. And when I saw that, I was asking one of my mates who is in SPW. I said, who's the new girl? I thought she was working for SPW because she looked great and she looks very, very cute and sweet. She committed suicide. Rest in peace, Hana Kimura. And you can see Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose's face when they play in this match. They try their very best. Hikaru Shida, no smiles whatsoever. The best match so far. Shida looks good. She looks really, really confident with her moves and whatnot. But it's a two version of Shida. I like this version more than the one who turns up at Dynamite. And what I like about her is that everything she did was so smooth. And Nyla Rose is great too. Nyla Gross. Nyla Rose sold for her, using the props in the ring, no steel chairs whatsoever, the toss around. I don't know why Jim Cornette hated it, but for a big woman, she was very, very careful, Nyla Rose. So I love it. Love the way Nyla Rose is still selling her back during a springboard knee at one of the moves that she pulled. And this is why it is my favorite match. It felt like I don't mean to offend Stone Cold and Bret Hart's fans. It felt like their WrestleMania 13 match, except that Bret Hart and Austin doesn't go into the crowd and whatnot. They went into the crowd, but not all. And I love this match. Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose. For me, this was a 4.9 out of 5. And you can see that once Hikaru Shida won the heavyweight title belt, you can see the expression on her face. It's a tribute to Hana Kimura. I can tell, the commentary didn't mention it, but, you just sense it. But it's heartbreaking news with Shad Gaspard and her and whatnot. It's really, really heartbreaking. But sidetracking here, Hana Kimura, rest in peace. Such a tragic loss because of bullying and social media antics. All the cowards behind the keyboard warriors and whatnots, and I even participate in some of the Twitter tweets. I watched some of the tweets, and this account was detected as the one who has been bullying her. It's fucking disgusting, man. Really. All I have to say is 2020 sucks, man. Seriously. But yeah, we'll get to that later on. After this. All right, the next one I want to talk about is the AEW title. Brody Lee against Jon Moxley. So Brody Lee against Jon Moxley. Actually it was a good match. Not what I've expected. I expected this to bomb actually. Brody Lee have zero momentum going into this match, but I didn't know he was keeping the title. So not at what I expected. I actually thought it's gonna be like mostly brawling. Nothing innovative, but I have to say, they step it up. But I think there is pressure on both men too. Brody Lee, he needs to prove that he belongs to hang in the main event. As a new guy into the roster, he walked in, and now he got a title shot. Moxley is carrying the banner of AEW right now, the champion. I love the DDT through the stage spot. That ending explained that definitely there is another title match, probably at All In, but now with Brian Cage into the title picture, it will be very interesting to see that. All in all, which is the next AEW pay-per-view, All In, it'll be very interesting to see whether it's a triple threat match or will it be a world heavyweight title. Maybe Brody Lee and the Dark Order have something in mind. I don't know. Very carefully staged match, I can say. But some of them are really physical and brutal. So, yeah. So they went with going back to Bret Hart Austin WrestleMania 13 ending, where Brody Lee just passed out. And this is, again, going back to the point where I think there will be a rematch. Most probably Brody Lee will claim that he didn't lose the match. He didn't tap out. Maybe there's another counter in there. I would do it a triple threat match. Or I will keep Brian Cage as far away from the heavyweight title first, because I think Brian Cage would have to maybe go through Luchasaurus or MJF, have a program with him. Well, you can't do it with MJF because he's a heel against heel. Let's see, maybe Adam Page, Hangman, or Kenny Omega. I don't like Adam Page and Hangman and Kenny Omega as a tag team title. I don't know why. I feel it's a wasted potential for two of them to be in the main event spot. So I don't like that. But anyways, so Jon Moxley retained the World Heavyweight title. Let's move on to the next match that I want to review, and that is MJF against Jungle Boy, Luke Perry's son, Jungle Boy. MJF's psychology is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. He may be the best heel in the business right now. Probably third place behind Kevin Owens and Bray Wyatt. You know, but his psychology is second to none. Obviously, Jungle Boy left arm is hurt in this match. You can see that what is the story they are trying to tell, but he can do all these springboard moves, so that fuck it up. That's not nice to see. Like you know, psychologically your left arm is hurt, but you can do all this springboard and you're not selling it, and then the next minute you're selling it. So very detailed. I'm a very detailed guy when it comes to wrestling, and especially guys like this. So I don't like it. Like I mentioned before, he keeps on and off selling the arm. What the fuck is that all about, you know? And then midway through the match, all of a sudden he goes for a chop competition. That sucks. Like one of the, like, it's already going up in terms of momentum, and then they challenge each other into a chop. Look, I'm a big fan of the chop as well, you know, and everybody who don't know what a chop is where they slap each other's chest. But Ric Flair done it in the 70s and 80s, and it's been way overdone it. It comes to a point where it's an offensive move. It's not a signature move anymore. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and all of a sudden they go into this chop competition, like in the middle of the ring. That's like fucking weird. And when I wrote it down about what's negative about this match. And then I heard Jim Cornette and Brian Last's podcast. They said the same thing. Same thing. It was like such weird thing to do. But anyways, I would vote this match 3 out of 5. Maybe 2.9 out of 5. I just feel like both men are great. But they maybe time limitation, or you know, crowd limitation, you know, maybe they can't do it in a, you know, great wrestlers whenever they try to work a match is always great. But I don't know what happened here. To me, it's not good. Jungle Boy didn't sell it well. MJF didn't turn up his game. Maybe there's ring rust out there. It felt weird after the chop competition. You know, it doesn't, you know, the first 15 minutes was fine. But I don't like that match. Okay. Let's see. What else? Penelope fought against Statlander. I don't even want to cover this match. Penelope took a huge bomb in the Double or Nothing ladder match. And then, you know, she didn't sell the ladder. I don't want to talk about this match. I do not want to talk about Dustin Rhodes against Shawn Spears as well. Very entertaining match, but you know, due to time limitation, they have to make it short. By the way, Dustin Rhodes, hats off to him. He moves like he is 10 to 15 years ago. I love that guy. Okay. Oh yes, the Cody Rhodes against Lance Archer, TNT World Heavyweight Championship. First of all, Mike Tyson is there. We'll get to that later on. Lance Archer's character blends well with Jake the Snake, I have to say. Okay, Cody Rhodes, he is the true, maybe, you know, on my heroes, excellence of execution. When I see him sells, I believe him. And I'm surprised that Cody won because I didn't know this, but I did not notice this, but Lance Archer is undefeated. So I don't know how they're gonna recover Lance Archer again. Maybe he turns. The only way I can see him getting back into his momentum is he destroys Jake the Snake Robert. He blames Jake the Snake for the loss whatsoever. So I guess this is not gonna be the end. But what else? Holy shit! The camera caught Mike Tyson yawning. That one gave me a hysterical laugh when I was watching the match. And it was the camera is not doing its best work. Yeah, he caught Tyson laughing hysterically at Lance Archer. He's yawning. Not a good way to use your special attraction. What's next? I'm reading from what I've wrote here. Oh yes, Cody's belt, I assume will be used for props soon, but they didn't. Love the spot of the DDT and Spinebuster to both of their mentors. Cody doing a DDT in front of Jake, and then Lance Archer doing a Spinebuster. That one's great. One for the fans, but even though there's no fans out there. And what I don't like about this match is that I don't get the spot where Lance Archer is walking and he's on the offense. But why the fuck is Jake distracting the ref? This is a setup to the end of the match where both Jake and Arn Anderson get sent off from the ring. I don't get it. I don't get that because Jake is distracting the ref. Then so they're doing the ref throwing the two managers out, but then they are actually setting up for Mike Tyson's spot. Actually, I in our last episode I actually predicted Mike Tyson is gonna KO somebody. It looks like he's gonna KO Jake the Snake, but I don't think Jake the Snake would sell for anyone besides a wrestler. So they do a spot where Jake the Snake come out with a snake and Mike Tyson act like the special enforcer. This is a repeat of Undertaker against Yokozuna. Chuck Norris is the special enforcer. So they do that. So it's a setup actually for Mike Tyson's spot. Mike Tyson looks super fucking great for a 50-year-old guy. To me, it's still 3 out of 5. Nothing great about that about the match. It's just it's very difficult to book the hottest babyface in AEW against the undefeated. The AEW have only themselves to blame if they squash this one up. To me, they kill Lance Archer with this match. But actually, to tell you the truth, he still looks pretty green, but he still got time. That's a good part about Lance Archer. So yeah, that's another one of AEW's run-off matches. And another one I want to review is, of course, our Stadium Stampede match, which caused a lot of controversial shit with all the podcasters this week. Let me give you my take on it. I love the intro with the jersey numbers and cheerleaders and whatnot. It make it look like a sports entertainment match. When I first watched it, it gave me a feel of a football match. So I think it's because with the announcers, and whatnot. So the announcers go pinfall. Okay, this is where I don't like about that match. It goes pinfalls anywhere, but it's only one ref. So you're gonna battle the entire stadium, but there's only one ref. So what happens? Apparently, okay. Apparently, I just remember this. Apparently, there's another referee going, but come on, man, it's not enough referees if you think about it logically. What happens if Matt Hardy was swinging at what's that guy's name? Sammy Guevara, and then the other one is Jericho and Hangman. So it doesn't make. And how about the other ones? The rest of the elite battling out. So I don't know about that. The only not interesting in this match. There's no logic behind it. How the fuck is that ever gonna happen if all three make the same pinfall? Who's gonna win the match? You know what I mean? That's what I meant. Not interesting to me. The only rescue of the match is the action on the ring. I would have made a 5-on-5 tag team match and start from the ring, and then all hell break loose, make them brawl all over the stadium. But don't announce it as a false count anywhere. I would have made that kind of match. All the rest is just look shenanigans, man. But I disagree with what Cornette have to say. Like, he fucking hated it. Like, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to pro wrestling. I get where he's coming from, and I get where the fans of AEW is coming from as well. But no, it's not being hyped as one of the greatest matches of all time. No, I would give it 3.6 out of 5. But I do like the shenanigans with Matt Hardy though, the changing version. That one's funny. The horse and everything, that doesn't do it for me. Why is Adam Page riding on a horse? So that doesn't do it for me. I don't understand that, and that doesn't do it for me either. So it doesn't resonate the whole entire pay-per-view. To me, it's a disappointment. I still like the first AEW Double or Nothing. I still like it. So yeah, that will be all actually. I will rate the entire pay-per-view a 3 out of 5. I've been giving a lot of 3 out of 5 today, but Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose got the best match for me of the pay-per-view, and I love it. They work hard, I'm pretty sure they were hurt by the Hana Kimura's passing, but they work hard. They deserve it. It felt like an NXT, NWA, WWE, Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling match. It felt like that. So congratulations to them. At least that's a savior. But overall, Double or Nothing, 3 out of 5. It could easily be 2.8 out of 5 as well. I don't like it. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm still neutral when it comes to professional wrestling. Anyways, and then after Double or Nothing, we move on to AEW Dynamite. So AEW start off at the top of the show as JR, Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone was going through the cards. And Excalibur mentioned, this is definitely a blunder. Excalibur mentioned Cody Rhodes reward himself the AEW title. That's a giveaway. Yeah, so anyways, that was funny. You can rewatch that. Okay, so apparently this is very interesting though. I watched on Daily Motion of AEW Dynamite, and I watched the version where when sometimes when JR will go right, who's gonna win? Up next, we'll be right back, and they go to commercials, right? So I got the version when there's no commercials. So it's really, really weird watching those productions as well. If you want that version of this week's AEW Dynamite, please DM me over on our Instagram. We would love to give you. And it was very interesting, the commercial break. It was a lot of actions that you missed during the commercial break. So all this while, when you're watching a wrestling TV shows, when they go for a commercial, you actually miss almost all the great actions, the calls, the not the comedian side of things, the trash talks and all that. And how do I know this is because all of a sudden JR goes welcome back to AEW Dynamite. This is a 6-man tag, whatever, So it's very interesting. I would love to watch more of that. Maybe watch Monday Night Raw or NXT. It makes you go more on the inside on how the performers perform in front of TV and whatnot. But anyways, so we see a 6-man tag featuring the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy against Private Party. Oh boy, this match. A very feel-good backstage segment, after their victory in the Stadium Stampede match. So they did this Matt Hardy changing characters in the match, but to me, it's like they gotta be careful with this Matt Hardy. He's one of your biggest babyface at the moment. AEW has gotta be careful. They can't be doing this to Matt Hardy all the time, because Matt Hardy is a talented wrestler and will be seen as a comedy if they keep doing this. It's a nice angle on Young Bucks and Butcher and Blade, who is in the crowd, which I which I thought when I was watching they're gonna set up Young Bucks and them. But going back to Matt Hardy, love the moonsault by Matt Hardy, very smooth. But a stupid ending because of the legal man by Matt Hardy. Felt so awkward on the ending of a match. So, like I mentioned before, going back to the Young Bucks right now, the Butcher and Blade was in the crowd. They accidentally punched them in the face, which I predicted, and then I thought there was a storyline, an angle building behind it, but they are actually setting up a confrontation because it is the debut of the Revival. Yes, correct. AKA they are now being known FTR. Apparently it's fuck the rest or forget the rest or whatever. It felt awkward, especially at the end there. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep FTR and the Bucks as far away as possible. But again, to me, they should be doing that for a long time. To me, it could be FTR making a debut, battling Hangman and Omega. And then, keep the Young Bucks as far away from FTR as much as they want until the crowd comes back. To me, that will be a very feel-good moment because, again, wrestling shows, if you don't have the crowd, it could have been one of those histories like, how often do you see a tag team confrontational that looks like a main event special? This could be it. But again, AEW, that's a markdown for me as well. They jump straight into it. FTR, the Revival, and the Young Bucks, they've been, for those of you who did not know the history behind this, is that from the days of Ring of Honor at ROH, they have been tweeting each other that they want to, go against each other. So I don't know where they are going with it, but I assume the Elite is now broken up. They're going to be separated. Young Bucks apparently is gonna do a storyline with FTR, because to me it's like that's the top, the two top teams in AEW right now, and you need to build both of them to, for the potentials, right? And they just started at the top, and the only way now is go down. So yeah, I think in previous episode I wasn't sure if the Revival is gonna be on AEW, but apparently they are right now. So congrats to them. I don't know how I wanna feel about it. No crowd pop doesn't help the confrontation. They didn't touch each other, just a stare down. But yeah, and then we move on to Brian Cage. So apparently Taz is Brian Cage's heel right now. He's the mouthpiece for Brian Cage right now. So just as I predicted. I like where this is going, but I don't see this going to be, again, this is not going to be a successful one. Here's the thing though, we talked about this earlier. Mox is the new champion. You can't take away the belt from him, right? He's gonna be the champion for at least until August or September, or maybe make him the longest heavyweight champion, so I don't know. You can't take away the belt from Jon Moxley, that's for sure. But I assume the next pay-per-view is called Fyter Fest. I actually wrote it down. I thought it was All In. So the next pay-per-view is Fyter Fest. Is going to be somewhere around next month. They haven't announced the date yet. So you can't build a guy like Brian Cage and lose the match against the champion. Or are they just gonna jump the gun for Brian Cage, because that will be awkward, because Brian Cage winning so easily, such an amount short of time with Jon Moxley for the heavyweight champion, and the IWC won't make a big deal out of this, because in TNA Brian Cage actually lost to Tessa Blanchard for the men's world heavyweight champion. I don't know how that's gonna work. So yeah, I don't see this as very successful. It's like AEW, from where things are going right now, they are pulling the trigger, all the good matches early, where you can actually play around with it. Have him attack Matt Hardy, or have him attack Kenny Omega Page, or so I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not too sure AEW have a booker. I assume they don't, because Cody Rhodes is the booker. To me, this is just gonna be a disaster. But we'll wait and see. So before we go into our next subject, Cody Rhodes. So I have been seen online on Cody Rhodes rewarding himself the TNT Championship. Okay, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity and say, I'm a Smark as well, and I don't agree with the fact that Cody Rhodes is rewarding himself the TNT Heavyweight Champion. Yes, he has something to do with the management of AEW. Yes, he seems like the booker of AEW. But to think that he rewards himself, isn't it deservedly so? How long have he been in the business? Way longer, right? So it's not somebody like walk in and like David Arquette style and reward him the world title. You know what I mean? Except that David Arquette doesn't own WCW. So it's not like that. It's Cody Rhodes. It's legit, right? And he's the excellence of execution. His psychology is great, man. He's like Bret Hart and Kurt Angle, second and third. You know what I mean? So I disagree with some of the Smarks saying that, agree themselves. It's worse than Triple H being Vince McMahon's son-in-law and rewarding himself the World Heavyweight Champion when Eric Bischoff was the GM. It's worse than that. That's rewarding someone without even winning a match. Fuck that, man. So I disagree with a lot of you Smarks out there, the IWC. But yeah, so he cuts a promo about he's gonna defend the title every week now, kind of like the US title open challenge. So very exciting, right? TNT Heavyweight Champion. Well, apparently the belt is not fully developed yet. So I don't know. Okay, and then so in next we go to Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, the lovely Penelope Ford, even though I dislike the match. Firstly, these wrestlers, right? I have a problem with this segment as well. These wrestlers who compete in the ladder match, they look fresh as fuck coming out from a ladder match. What the fuck is that? Not even one of these wrestlers who is participating in that ladder match even sells anything from the ladder match, the bumps that it took. Even I'm so disappointed in Frankie Kazarian and all those people. And nobody sells the bump that they took from the ladder match, man. I guess this is what happens when you don't have a booker, right? So yeah, so next week is gonna be World Tag Team Title match. Yeah, not the Young Bucks, sorry, the Adam Page and Kenny Omega is gonna defend the title against very interesting combination of a match in Kip Sabian and who's the other guy? I forgot his name. Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting to see that next week on AEW Dynamite. Cannot wait. And then we move on to the confrontation, the pep rally for the Inner Circle. A funny segment between Jericho. They're trying to reenact Stone Cold and Mike Tyson. Jericho, Mike Tyson. This is one spot Mike Tyson's want to rip off his shirt but can't. Okay, but hey, it's I really have no idea where they are going it. I don't believe they're gonna put Mike Tyson in the ring with Jericho, because that will be super crazy. But here's the thing that pisses me off. After watching that show, I was entertained actually. AEW Dynamite. I was really entertained by the war. Even Cody Rhodes come out. Try to stop, make it look so real. And then that motherfucker UFC star, I forgot his name, fucking hell, posted on Twitter, he was a part of the Mike Tyson group that confronted the Inner Circle. Shit, I couldn't recall his name. So he went on to Twitter. He records a backstage segment and saw Jericho and Mike Tyson laughing and talking about you know. This is why some people doesn't belong in the wrestling industry. It's fucking dipshit, man. I don't like it, and nothing against Mike Tyson. He's a UFC guy. I really cannot. I cannot recall his name. So he went on to video record, and the background it was seeing Jericho and Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson laughing and hugging each other about the confrontation of the Inner Circle and the Mike Tyson clan. So that's a tribute to how fucked up you are for doing that. And AEW, they're not gonna take measures against all these people, because these people think they are bigger than wrestling. These motherfuckers think they are bigger than wrestling just because they fight in a UFC match and it's legit. So, fuck you for doing that, because as of right now, you're gonna spoil the program of Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho. So thank you for that, alright? Motherfucker, man. Seriously. Yeah, but anyways, AEW Dynamite score a 4 out of 5 for me. 4.6 to 4.7 out of 5 for me. Overall, a great show. Would love to see where they are going with Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho. Two of the biggest icons in contact sports this year. Not say this year. In the 20th century. Jericho, to me, has evolved and evolved and evolved. Would love to see what's the program between he and Mike Tyson. I assume Mike Tyson is gonna brought in one of the wrestlers, and I assume maybe like I don't know, if Jericho loses the match, Inner Circle will have to break up, kind of thing. I don't know. All right, that's it for AEW. Up next, the last part of the show, I want to talk about episode 3 of The Last Ride. Today is Saturday night I'm doing this, so I assume tomorrow is going to be episode 4 already. Undertaker's The Last Ride, episode 3. First of all, it was great. Probably the best, because I get to see Kane in a backstage when he was debut in WWF at the time. At WrestleMania 14. So this episode was solely focused on the match that he's gonna have against Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker and Kane against Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Solely focused on the best matches he's had. Undertaker and Kane against the D-Generation X. I think it's somewhere around in Australia. I don't know, man. They got a lot of show to do, and I can't really recap this. But yeah, Undertaker, this is what I like about WWE. Like I mentioned when we were covering the SmackDown segments earlier today. If being done right, if being challenged, they can do it right. So they actually can do it. Over the years, during the John Cena era, all the crap that they showed us is unbelievably disappointment. You know what I mean? Like insulting our intelligence. And this was a great documentary again. Not including the WWE 24s, but it was a great show. It gave us an insight. I'm really surprised that The Undertaker was like nervous before a match and whatnot. So it gave me the idea of that he's actually human. And who doesn't love Undertaker? Every 90s kid grew up with The Undertaker, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting to see. Nothing much that I can say except that footages from the Attitude Era, where backstage on the Attitude Era when they were talking about, I think they interviewed Michael Cole this time, they interviewed Triple H more, they interviewed Shawn Michaels more, and it turns out to be a clusterfuck of a match. A very disappointing match that is between all four of them. And so I like it. I don't want to cover it too much because I assume I'm going to cover it again next week on our podcast, which is the more interesting one. After I see the trailer, it's where he went one-on-one with Goldberg. But yeah, it's very interesting. Oh yeah, this one and they cover his matches against John Cena as well. So this one looks good. The shit looks good. Like I said, documentary wise, it's been unbelievably great. That's all I have to say about the Last Ride documentary. But all in all, I would like to also mention Monday Night Raw has crowned the new US champion. What's his face? Apollo Crews, right? Apollo Crews is the new US champion. I don't know why this change. Maybe I don't know what's WWE trying to do. Well, it came before the incident. Is it before or after? After the incident in Minneapolis? I don't know. Maybe. But to me, it's so stupid that you just change your title just like that. No momentum whatsoever. He was beat up backstage to participate in the Money in the Bank. Then all of a sudden, he won the US Championship match. I don't know. It's so stupid to me. I'm not against that he should be. He should not be the US champion. I'm just saying. I'm an old school guy. I love a build up. I don't like just. It felt like here we go. We're just gonna switch the title to you and see how it goes. That's not what professional wrestling is all about. So I don't understand that booking of him winning the. I don't want to cover Monday Night Raw so much because it's a load of crap actually. It's really a crappy show, Monday Night Raw. It's worse than AEW. Seth Rollins is not doing himself any good, So it doesn't give a legitimacy for the women's title as well because Becky Lynch left and hand over the belt to Asuka. Poor Asuka. Apparently, I read it somewhere there's gonna be a Rey Mysterio retirement next week on Monday Night Raw. I would like to watch that. It's not an actual retirement. Trust me on this. This is part of a storyline. Maybe to debut Rey's son, Dominic. I don't know. So Seth Rollins has got something to do with it. Can't wait to watch it. I have a surprise for you on the next show. It's our 10th edition, and every time we do a 10 on a wrestling, WrestleMania 10, 20, it's gonna be something surprise. And the surprise is gonna be a wrestler. I'm not gonna tell you who yet. Is doing a guest podcast with me. So we're gonna talk to him about wrestling. We're gonna talk to him a whole lot more about wrestling, and I would love to let you guys in. But keep on a lookout on our Instagram posts on who is the mystery guest podcast partner I have on episode 10. So that will be it for the Smark podcast. Hopefully you enjoy this, and if you have any comments and feedbacks, that section right there to scroll down on our comment section, YouTube or Instagram, you can head on over and feedback to me. So that's it for us here on the Smark podcast episode 9, and see you on episode 10.
It's true. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, everybody knows it. I don't have to say what I am, because I've done it. That's the difference. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.